In this video, we're diving into cursed items, hidden treasures, and strange unexplained events from around the world. Stick around till the end, because you might discover that something in your own home is far more valuable than you think, some even worth millions. Muramasa and Masamuna, the real-life cursed and blessed katanas. Even if you haven't seen a katana in real life, you've probably heard of the Muramasa. Most games have this item, and within its description, it's always cursed. But why is this the case for this particular sword? In the late 1500s, in Japan's Muromachi period, a swordsmith named Muramasa forged blades unlike any other. They were razor-sharp, perfectly balanced, and feared on the battlefield. Warriors prized them for their ability to cut through armor and flesh with terrifying ease. But Muramasa's swords carried a darker reputation. Legends claimed they were bloodthirsty, that once drawn, they demanded blood before they could be sheathed again. Some said the blades drove their wielders into violent rages, compelling them to strike down even friends and family. This reputation only grew when fate intervened. The Tokugawa clan, who would rise to rule Japan, suffered tragedy after tragedy involving Muramasa blades. Convinced these swords were cursed, the Tokugawa shogunate banned them outright. Directly opposite to Muramasa is another famed mastersmith, Masamuna. Masamune's swords were said to embody serenity, justice, and harmony. This is also translated in video games as the opposite of the cursed Muramasa. Masamune is often described as a holy sword, sometimes the most powerful. A famous tale describes both men testing their swords in a river. Masamune's blade cut only leaves and impurities, sparing the living fish that swam past. Muramasa's cut everything indiscriminately, the leaves, fish, even the water itself. One was revered as the sword of peace, the other cursed as a weapon of destruction. Today, surviving Muramasa blades are rare and highly valued, but they remain cloaked in superstition. To hold one is to hold a piece of history, and perhaps a curse that still hungers for blood. So if you ever get to see one of these swords, you better be careful, because if the curse is real, you may get to experience a bloodlust for wielding it. These are the top 10 of the world's most mysterious objects found by humans. At number 10 is the Dendera light carving. A temple carving in Dendera, Egypt, appears to show a large light bulb connected to a power source. Historians insist it's symbolic, but alternative theorists think it depicts lost ancient technology. Number 9, the Baltic Sea Anomaly. Discovered in 2011, this massive object on the Baltic Sea floor is shaped like a giant stone disk with unusual grooves. Sonar images sparked theories of a crashed UFO, though official investigations call it a natural formation. Number 8, the London Hammer. A hammer encased in rock said to be over 100 million years old. If genuine, it would suggest human technology existed long before humans were believed to exist. Number 7, the Dropa Stones, disputed alien relics. Allegedly found in a Chinese cave in the 1930s, these discs are etched with tiny grooves that some claim tell the story of alien visitors. Mainstream scholars doubt their authenticity, but the originals mysteriously disappeared. Number 6, the stone spheres of Costa Rica. Hundreds of nearly perfect stone spheres, some weighing 15 tons, scattered across the jungles of Costa Rica. Their purpose and the tools used to carve them remain unknown. Number 5, the Phaistos Disk. Found on the Greek island of Crete in 1908, this fired clay disc is covered with spirals of stamped symbols, unlike any known writing system. No one has deciphered its meaning. Number 4, the Shroud of Turin, a linen cloth bearing the faint image of a man who appears to have been crucified. Believers claim it's the burial shroud of Jesus. Skeptics call it a medieval forgery. Radiocarbon dating has given conflicting results. Number 3, the Baghdad Battery. A small clay jar from 2,000 years ago with copper and iron components inside. Some believe it may have been an ancient battery, though skeptics think it was just a storage vessel. If it was electrical, it changes history. Number 2, the Voynich Manuscript, the unreadable book. a 15th century manuscript filled with unknown language, bizarre plant drawings, and astronomical charts. Despite decades of cryptanalysis, no one has cracked its code or proven if it even holds real meaning. And for number 1, the Antikythera Mechanism, the ancient Greek computer. Discovered in a shipwreck off the coast of Greece in 1901, this 2,000-year-old bronze device has intricate gears used to predict astronomical events. Its engineering was so advanced that nothing like it appeared again for over 1,000 years. No one knows who built it or why it ended up at sea. This is the mystery of the Oakville Blobs. A strange gelatinous substance rained down over a quiet town in Washington state. Those who touched it became violently ill, had nausea, breathing problems, even the death of pets. But what exactly was this substance? And why did it fall from the sky? It all began on August 7, 1994, in Oakville, Washington. Residents woke up to find their yards, rooftops, and cars covered in a strange gelatine-like material. It was clear that it wasn't rain or even hail. It was a sticky, clear blob that no one could identify. Soon after, people began to fall sick. Locals reported dizziness, blurred vision, difficulty breathing, and severe nausea. Even animals were affected. One woman's cat died after exposure to the mysterious substance. Whatever was falling from the sky, it was dangerous. Alarmed, residents collected samples of the strange material and sent them for testing. When the Washington State Department of Health examined it, they found something shocking. The blobs contained 2 types of bacteria, one of them commonly found in the human digestive system. A microbiologist studying the blobs discovered something even stranger. They contained cells, but no nuclei, meaning they weren't complete organisms. Without nuclei, they couldn't be alive. The samples quickly degraded, leaving scientists without enough material to solve the mystery. Then the theories poured in. Some suspected the blobs were waste dumped from an airplane, but the FAA denied this, explaining aircraft waste has always dyed blue. Others claimed it could be jellyfish, remains swept up by weather patterns, but there was no trace of saltwater or marine life in the samples. None of it added up. Then came the military theory. Oakville was located near a bombing range, and locals swore they saw military aircraft in the skies before the blobs appeared. Some believed the substance was the byproduct of weapons testing, or worse, a biological experiment gone wrong. But if the military knew something, they never admitted it. Over the following weeks, the blobs reportedly fell 6 different times. Each appearance brought new cases of illness, but no long-term investigation was ever conducted. Eventually, the gelatinous rain stopped, leaving behind only rumors and unanswered questions. Now, more than 30 years later, the Oakville blobs remain one of the strangest unsolved mysteries in America. Were they biological waste, a military experiment, or something far more disturbing? And if you thought this story was bizarre, wait until you hear about the next one. These are 5 locations in the world that's still shrouded in mystery. Number 5, the door to hell, Turkmenistan. In the Karakum Desert, a massive burning crater has been on fire for over 50 years. Locals call it the door to hell. It began when Soviet engineers drilled into a gas pocket in the 1970s. The ground collapsed and flames erupted. They expected the fire to burn out in weeks. Instead, it's still burning today, a gaping pit of fire in the middle of the desert night. Scientists can explain the gas, but they can't explain why it never dies. Number 4, the Appalachian Mountains, USA. The Appalachian Range is one of the most cryptid-filled regions in America. Deep within its forests, legends tell of the Mothman, a winged creature with glowing red eyes, said to be an omen of disaster. There are also stories about the Flatwoods Monster, an alien-like being reported in West Virginia, and the countless tales of Bigfoot roaming the ridges. Locals also speak of eerie lights in the tree line and ghostly voices that lure travelers off the trail. The Appalachians are more than mountains. They're a breeding ground for creatures and legends that defy explanation. Number 3, Mount Shasta, USA. In Northern California, Mount Shasta rises like a beacon of mystery. Locals speak of glowing lights and shadowy figures. Legends claim the mountain hides tunnels to an ancient underground city, while UFO sightings are reported constantly, though native myths say powerful spirits guard the peak. Whatever the truth, Mount Shasta is a mountain wrapped in secrets. Number 2, Gobekli Tepe, Turkey. Older than Stonehenge, older than the pyramids. This temple was built over 11,000 years ago, long before humans were thought capable of such construction. Massive stone pillars, carved with strange animals and symbols, stand in circles across the site. Then, it was deliberately buried. Number 1, Lake Vostok, Antarctica. Buried under 2 miles of ice lies a hidden lake, sealed off for more than 15 million years. When scientists drilled into it, they found strange DNA. Organisms unlike anything we know. What's living in that eternal darkness? Some say the lake is a time capsule. Others fear it's something best left untouched. 5 eerie things caught on Google Maps. Number 5, Doll Village, Japan. This village once had hundreds of residents. Over the years, people either moved away to cities or passed away, leaving behind only a handful of elderly villagers. On Google Maps, Street View lets you walk through the area where the dolls appear as if frozen in time. I'll link the coordinates on the description or comments of this video. Number 4, the Broken Face, Antarctica. In early 2025, news outlets reported that a Reddit user had spotted an uncanny face-like formation in Antarctica using Google Earth imagery. Within hours, the story spread. The discovery quickly went viral, and the uncanny resemblance triggered comparisons to the famous face on Mars. What's actually at play here is pareidolia, the human brain's urge to recognize familiar shapes in random patterns. 3. The Antarctic Pyramid, Antarctica. In the frozen wilderness of Antarctica, Google Maps shows a massive pyramid-shaped peak rising sharply from the snow. Its perfect symmetry has sparked wild theories. Some claim it's evidence of a lost ancient civilization. Others insist it's just a natural mountain eroded by ice. But when you zoom in, it looks uncannily like the pyramids of Egypt, sitting in the most remote place on Earth. Number 2, the Disappearance Solved by Google Maps, Florida, USA. In 2019, a Google Maps user spotted a car submerged in a pond behind a Florida neighborhood. Investigators discovered the remains of William Molt, missing since 1997. For 22 years, his disappearance remained a mystery, until satellite imagery revealed the truth. 1. The Richat structure, Mauritania, Africa. Deep in the heart of the Sahara Desert lies one of the most striking natural formations on Earth, the Richat structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara. Spanning nearly 50 kilometers in diameter, this massive circular formation is so enormous that astronauts use it as a landmark when orbiting the planet. The structure consists of concentric rings of rock, alternating in color and composition, which create the impression of a giant eye when viewed from above. Scientists believe it's a geological dome eroded over millions of years, exposing layers of quartzite, sandstone, and volcanic rock. Some have speculated that the rings could be evidence of ancient civilizations, while others suggest it might match Plato's description of Atlantis' concentric rings of land and water, now lost beneath the sands of time. Despite decades of study, the Richat structure's origin and purpose remain partially mysterious, and its sheer scale and unique design make it one of the most awe-inspiring sites on Google Maps. Some even claim that when satellite images capture the shadow patterns just right, it almost looks artificially designed, fueling theories that go far beyond geology. This is a map of lost treasures. These pins on the map represents the final locations of treasures recorded in history. But for this video, we'll focus on these 5, which has significant value and history behind them. Let's start down here in South America, wherein the Inca people hid massive amounts of gold and silver from the Spanish invaders. The treasure known as Paititi is said to be hidden in a secret city deep within the Peruvian forest. The story goes like this. After the fall of Cusco in 1533, Spanish reports mention that Inca nobles and priests fled eastward into the Amazon with large amounts of treasure, most of which are gold and silver. A Spanish explorer named Juan Álvarez Maldonado, who led an expedition east of Cusco, described native accounts of wealthy settlements hidden in the jungles. His writings are often cited as one of the earliest mentions of Paititi. In recent years, with the technological advancements like LiDAR mapping, scientists are still finding traces of civilization hidden deep within the Amazon. Maybe one of them is hiding the treasure of the Inca people. While the Incas deliberately hid their treasure, the next story was a case of outright hijacking. Imagine an armored truck full of gold suddenly going off course. Only this wasn't the 21st century. It was the 18th, and the armored truck was a Spanish galleon. In 1820, as revolutionary forces threatened Spanish control of Peru, authorities in Lima loaded an enormous fortune: gold, silver, jewels, and religious artifacts onto the Mary Deer, commanded by British Captain William Thompson. The treasure's estimated value today would exceed $1 billion. Thompson and his crew were trusted to transport it safely to Mexico, away from the rebellion. Instead, they murdered the Spanish guards and disappeared with the treasure. The Spanish Navy eventually caught Thompson and some of his men. According to surviving records, they were interrogated. Thompson himself never confessed, but later accounts claimed his surviving crew let slip the secret that the treasure was buried on Cocos Island. It was already a notorious pirate refuge in the Pacific. Its isolation, fresh water, and hidden coves made it the perfect place to stash stolen treasure. Even without proof, it was easy for people to believe the treasure of Lima ended up there. While there are only vague tales about the treasure of Lima's true location, the next story is even more intriguing because it begins with a cryptic map said to lead straight to the fortune. The legend dates back to the 19th century and has become one of the most famous lost treasure stories in North America. At its center was Jacob Waltz, a German immigrant who worked as a prospector in Arizona. He gained a reputation for producing small amounts of exceptionally rich gold ore, but he never revealed where it came from. When Waltz died in 1891, neighbors claimed he left behind cryptic directions to a hidden mine. Some of these clues were written down, while others were passed along as oral testimony. After Waltz's death, the legend of the lost Dutchman's mine spread quickly. Treasure hunters, adventurers, and prospectors poured into the Superstition Mountains. Over the decades, maps, journals, and supposed deathbed clues surfaced. Since the early 1900s, dozens of people have died or gone missing while searching for the mine. The mine's exact existence has never been proven, and the U.S. Forest Service has repeatedly warned against treasure hunting in the area. The Dutchman's mine remains a question of whether it ever existed at all, but the next treasure was very real, carefully crafted, and once displayed for the world to see, until it disappeared without a trace. In 1716, King Frederick William of Prussia presented the Amber Room as a gift to Tsar of Russia. It was often called the eighth wonder of the world. The room was unlike anything ever built. By modern estimates, the Amber Room's value would exceed hundreds of millions of dollars. But its worth was not just financial, it was considered a masterpiece of art, craftsmanship, and diplomacy. But in 1941, Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union. The Amber Room was dismantled by German soldiers, packed into crates, and transported to Königsberg. It was displayed in Königsberg Castle Museum for about 2 years. In 1944, as the Allies advanced, the Nazis reportedly repacked the Amber Room into crates again. After that, it vanished without a trace. After the war, Soviet authorities sealed off many underground chambers and bunkers beneath the city. Some speculate the room might still be buried there, forgotten beneath modern Kaliningrad. While the Amber Room may have vanished in the chaos of Europe, in the Philippines, another plundered treasure was hidden on purpose: Yamashita's gold. And the story goes like this. During World War II, the Japanese Imperial Army under General Tomoyuki Yamashita allegedly looted vast amounts of gold, jewels, and cultural artifacts from across Southeast Asia. Sources of the loot included the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Burma, and even occupied China. As Japan faced defeat in 1944 to 1945, it became too dangerous to ship everything back to Japan. So, the Japanese allegedly buried much of the loot in the Philippines, intending to recover it later after the war. And in 1945, Yamashita was captured by U.S. forces, tried for war crimes, and executed. He never admitted to any treasure. But in the 1940s, and especially in the 1970s to 1990s, treasure hunters began claiming to have found parts of Yamashita's gold. The most famous case is Rogelio Rojas, a Filipino locksmith who said he discovered a tunnel containing a golden Buddha and crates of gold bars in 1971. Not long after his discovery, word reached the ears of the powerful. Soldiers loyal to President Ferdinand Marcos seized the treasure. Rojas himself was arrested, beaten, and imprisoned. By the time he was released, the Buddha and the gold were gone. For the rest of his life, Rojas insisted on the truth of his find. He lived in poverty, even as rumors spread that Marcos had quietly enriched himself from Yamashita's gold. In 1993, Rojas died under suspicious circumstances. To this day, the golden Buddha and the missing crates of gold have never been seen again. Whether Rojas truly found Yamashita's treasure, or whether he was a victim of a larger deception, remains one of the Philippines' greatest mysteries. Now, let's talk about what would happen if you found one of these treasures. Stumbling upon the fabled Inca city of Paititi, often called El Dorado. If you somehow located it in the Peruvian Amazon, you'd face strict heritage protection laws. All archaeological finds in Peru are property of the state, and unauthorized digs are treated as crimes. Instead of gold, you might earn prison time. As for the treasure of Lima, if you uncovered it on Cocos Island, you wouldn't be able to keep it. The island is a Costa Rican national park, and Costa Rica strictly bans treasure hunting there. Anything found would legally belong to the government. In fact, multiple expeditions have tried and failed because of those laws. Things gets even trickier for the Lost Dutchman's gold mine in Arizona. The Superstition Mountains are a U.S. federally protected wilderness. While prospecting is legal in some areas with permits, removing historical artifacts or digging in protected zones is illegal. And given that dozens of treasure hunters have died chasing it, you'd be risking more than just jail time. You'd be risking your life. Then there's the Amber Room. If you somehow uncovered the original panels hidden in a German bunker or shipwreck, international law would almost certainly kick in. As a priceless cultural artifact, it would be claimed by Russia as state property. Keeping or selling it would be treated as trafficking stolen art. Finally, Yamashita's gold in the Philippines. This case is especially controversial. Technically, any treasure found in the Philippines is split. 50% goes to the government, and the finder may receive a portion of the other half, but only if it's registered and recovered legally. Yet, because Yamashita's treasure is tied to war crimes and plundered loot, it could be claimed outright by the state or subject to international restitution laws. These are 10 rare items you might have in your basement or attics that's worth a lot of money. Stick around, you might already be rich by owning these items. Number 10. Vintage Levi's jeans. Believe it or not, old jeans can be worth a fortune. A pair of Levi's from the 1880s was discovered in an abandoned mine and sold for $87,000 at auction. Even jeans from the mid-20th century with rare details can fetch thousands, meaning those old clothes in your attic might be worth more than gold. Number 9. Beatles' White Album. If you have a relative that are music fans, check your vinyl. The Beatles' White Album, first pressing from 1968 with a low serial number, can sell for over $100,000. The lower the number, the higher the price. Number 8. Rare paintings in attics. That dusty canvas in the basement? It could be more than decoration. In 2014, a forgotten Caravaggio masterpiece was found in a French attic, valued at over $100 million. Even lesser-known originals can sell for tens of thousands. So, if you have an old painting just sitting in your attic, you might want to have it appraised. Number 7. Antique rugs. That old rug in your living room bought by your parents in a thrift store might be worth thousands of dollars. Some antique Persian and Oriental rugs have sold for hundreds of thousands, and one even went for $30 million. Even worn ones can bring in serious cash. Number 6. 1943 copper penny. Don't ignore your loose change. Most 1943 pennies are steel, but a few were mistakenly struck in copper. If yours doesn't stick to a magnet, it could be worth up to $200,000. Number 5. Tiffany lamp. That dusty old lamp in the attic? If it's an original Tiffany stained glass lamp from the early 1900s, you might be sitting on $50,000 to over $1 million. Number 4. First edition of The Hobbit, 1937. Before The Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien published The Hobbit in 1937. Many were bought up by libraries, making clean copies incredibly rare. Today, an original first edition with its dust jacket can sell for over $200,000 at auction. Even later early editions are worth thousands. So, if you've got an old Tolkien book on your shelf, it might just be a hidden treasure. Number 3. Inverted Jenny Stamp. Even stamps can shock you. The famous Inverted Jenny from 1918 shows an airplane printed upside down. A single stamp has sold for more than $100,000. Number 2. Action Comics number 1. The Holy Grail of Comics. The 1938 debut of Superman. Copies have been found in old trunks and attics, and even in rough shape, they're worth millions. Only about 100 copies are known to still exist, and most are in poor condition. But even then, they're worth a fortune. A near-mint copy sold on eBay for over $3.2 million, making it the most expensive comic ever sold at auction. Number 1. Honus Wagner Baseball Card. The most legendary sports card in the world, the T206 Honus Wagner, printed between 1909 and 1911. Fewer than 60 are known to exist, and they've become the crown jewel of card collecting. In 2021, one sold at auction for $6.6 million. Some copies have been found in old collections and passed down through families, hiding in plain sight. Do you have something in your home that you think might actually be worth a fortune? Drop it in the comments. Time to check those old boxes before it gets accidentally donated. Remember, some of the world's most valuable treasures aren't locked away in museums. They could be sitting in your own home right now. If you like these kinds of videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time,